as to whether someone is truly ill or faking it, but the one piece of advice I can give is Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to talk about something called sick day guilt. As usual, before we get started, if you hit that subscribe button, I'll greatly appreciate that, along with any likes or comments you can give this video. If you want to check out my social media pages, all the links are down below in the description. So, if you have a chronic illness, this is something you'll most definitely have felt, and it's called sick day guilt. I know some watching this may be like, oh come on, you're just making things up now, but I promise you I'm not, and it is a real thing, honestly. Let me know if this sounds familiar, and this is something I certainly do. If I ever wake up and feel too sick to go to work, I would literally sit on the edge of my bed and have a full-on debate in my own head as to whether I should go in or not. I'd say to myself, am I making a big deal out of things, or am I making something out of nothing? And that I'll be fine and it'll pass. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, I'll tell myself to suck it up, I get changed, and then I will go and do the hour-and-a-half commute where either I'll feel so ill on the train and I've actually thrown up on the train toilets or at the station, or I'll make it to work only to look like a complete zombie to be sent back home again. The only silver lining of getting into work to be sent back home is that people see that you're ill and that you're a mess and that you can't function like a proper human being for that day. So they physically see that you're ill and that you actually made the intention to come in. But what happens when you have a chronic illness like Crohn's disease or any other illness and have to call in sick one too many times? This is where sick day guilt comes into this. Let me be real with you. I have been in remission for almost 9 years, and over the Christmas period of 2018, it depends when you're watching this video, stress at work was ridiculous. And for those that don't know, that I work as a radiographer, so my job, I'm on my feet all day, I'm dealing with patients, and there can be odd working patterns and shifts. And on most days, I just get a lunch break. I don't have time to have a mid-morning or a mid-afternoon break. And when I do, even then I feel guilty of taking my full allotted break time because I know how busy it can get in the department. So in Christmas time, December time of 2018, it was so stressful. We had so many patients, and it's the NHS. We have a lot of people come in and out of the department, not only patient-wise but staff-wise. So sometimes we are short-staffed, and we have to pick up the extra slack just to get through the day. And at this time, it was just building up, and my fatigue was getting worse and worse. And a few days before Christmas, I fled for the very first time in years, and since then, I have not been the same, and I have had to call in sick one too many times. Now, when I do call in sick, I can't help but feel so guilty at the fact that I feel like I'm letting everyone down at work. And I keep telling myself that there is no reason to feel like this, but yet it keeps playing in my mind. The same thoughts keep running through my mind of, I hope people don't think I'm faking it, and I almost feel the need to drag myself in only to be seen so I can be sent back home. It sounds so counterintuitive, but unfortunately that is kind of the reality when you live with an invisible illness. You can't prove that you're sick. People just have to take your word for it. But even the act of calling in to make them aware that I'm not going to be in fills me with dread, as I feel it's almost got to the point of, why am I not surprised he's calling in sick again? I find the hardest thing to overcome is the feeling that I am letting people down. And this does stay with me the whole time I'm sick, and it does play around in my head, and it leads me to rush my recovery. Now, I was speaking to some friends about this, and even though they don't have a chronic illness, as far as I'm aware, but they also do feel the same way. But the way their jobs are structured, they catch up with work while they're sick. So whether that's by doing project work or responding over email and phone calls, they are still actively involved with work when they're sick. Now, I can't really do that because my work is at the hospital, all the patients are at the hospital, and I can't really do anything from home. So the burden or the feelings of guilt just increase even more. And that in part is because I know how busy it can get and how difficult it can be to manage the patient load, especially when you're short-staffed. And it just comes back to that feeling of you're feeling like you're letting the team down. As I said, this sort of sick day guilt does make me rush my recovery and try to get back to work even when I'm not 100%. And it should come to no surprise that not taking the time to fully recover and rushing back does actually make you feel worse, and you end up going off sick, sometimes for even longer than you originally were. But I am learning, although very slowly, that there is no reason to feel guilty about being sick over something that I can't control. It's not as if I've intentionally decided to not go into work or to even have Crohn's disease, and that I am just playing with the cards that I have been dealt with and doing the best that I can. And a lot of you need to realise that. And it's difficult living with a chronic illness, especially when you can't prove that you have it. And I know we live in a society today where people require proof, and there's sort of a lot of talk behind people's back as to whether someone is truly ill or faking it. But the one piece of advice I can give is just to ignore that. Just focus on you. Do the best you can, and if you're doing that, that's all that matters. So if you're like me and suffer from sick day guilt, I just want you to know that you are not alone. It's okay to go off sick, and it's even more important to try and overcome the feeling of guilt and not rush your recovery, and to only go back into work when you are fully recovered. It will be the best for you and the best for your employer, because they're going to be getting the best version of you. So I hope you found that helpful. It wasn't really much of a Crohn's tips and tricks video or a little vlog. It was more of a little rant. But I hope you found it useful anyway. If you want to see more videos like this about any other topic, just let me know in the comments section. Remember to hit that subscribe button and to follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description box below. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.